Khun Yai's story. Khun Yai Chun Konnokyung was born on January 20th, 1909 in Nakhon Chasi, a rural municipality of Thailand. She was a fifth of 9 children in the family. Her father, Ploy, and her mother, Pan, were rice farmers. The word Khun Yai means grandmother in Thai. It is a respectful way to call a woman of advancing age. Khun Yai's given name was Jan, which means moon. Her last name was Konnokyung, which means peacock feather. The farmer's life had trained Jan to be industrious. She would get up before sunrise to tend to the rice field with her water buffalo and would return home at sunset. In those times, Thai families seldom send their daughters to school. Because of this, Jan never learned how to read or write. Jan's father was a good family man, but he was addicted to alcohol. He was gentle when sober, but unpleasant when drunk. One day, he became so drunk that he fell asleep under the house while the family slept inside. A village house is usually built on stilts to protect from wild animals and flooding. He was mumbling and snoring so loudly that it bothered the family. In disgust, her mother called him a sparrow, a Thai expression for a worthless person that leached off of her. This remark wounded his pride. He angrily asked all the children if they heard their mother insult him. The children stayed quiet. Innocently, Jan said that she did not think her mother had insulted him. This infuriated her father, thinking she was taking her mother's side. In anger, he cursed Jan to deafness for 500 lifetimes. Many Thai folks believe that the parents' words are sacred and potent. Jan worried that her father's curse would come true for her. She wished to ask for her father's forgiveness so the curse would be lifted. Unfortunately, she never had the opportunity to do so until he died. On the day her father passed away, Jan was out working in the rice fields. When she came home after a long day, she saw everybody crying for her father. It is a Thai tradition to ask a dying person for forgiveness for any wrongdoings done to the person. Everybody had already asked for his forgiveness except for Jan. His death profoundly affected Jan's life. Most Thai people believe in rebirth. She worried that she would be reborn deaf as a result of her father's curse. Now that her father had passed away, the only place to find him was in the afterlife realm. When Jan was 18 years old, she heard about the supernormal meditative powers of the great abbot of Wat Pak Nam Pasichalan, Prat Mongkol Tep Muni, 1885 to 1959, who taught an advanced form of meditation known as a Dhammakaya knowledge. Through this knowledge, an adept meditator could use his inner transcendental body to traverse to afterlife realms. Some of the great abbot's disciples were known to have this ability. Jan wished that one day she would have the opportunity to meet with the great abbot and learn this knowledge from him. Jan left home in 1935 when she was 26 years old to look for the great abbot at Wat Pak Nam Pasichalan in Thonburi, a neighboring city of Bangkok. She learned that a woman by the name of Mrs. Liep was a regular benefactor of Wat Pak Nam. She applied for a job with Mrs. Liep to become her domestic help. She did this to gain access to the inner circle of Wat Pak Nam and the great abbot so that one day she could become a disciple there. Mrs. Liep agreed to hire Jan. As time went by, Jan's hardworking nature and truthfulness gained her the complete trust and confidence of Mrs. Liep. During the same time, a nun from Wat Pak Nam by the name of Thong Suk Sam Dang Pan, a leading disciple of the great abbot, was teaching meditation at Mrs. Liep's home. At Jan's request, Mrs. Liep agreed to let her join the meditation classes. Jan practiced meditation with the nun, Thong Suk Sam Dang Pan, for 2 years. She eventually attained a Dhammakaya, a state of absorption in meditation where the mind becomes one and the same with the inner body of enlightenment, having penetrative insight into the reality of life in the world. This is a state where mental consciousness is at its highest. Having achieved this high level of meditative attainment, Jun asked Tong-suk to show her how to traverse to the afterlife realms so that she could find her father. With Tong-suk's help, Jun finally located her deceased father, who, due to his bad drinking habits, had fallen into one of the hell realms. Through her Tamakaya body, Jun was able to communicate with her father and ask for his forgiveness, which he granted. And through the power of the Tamakaya, Jun helped him to recall the merits from his good deeds in earlier lifetimes, so these merits could relieve him from this retribution. Her father's retribution was indeed neutralized by the power of his merit, and he was freed from the hell realm. Upon attaining the Tamakaya, Jun knew that Tama was to become her life destiny. She decided to renounce the worldly life to become a nun. Jun finally met the great abbot in 1938. She asked to become his disciple and to be ordained as a nun. The great abbot happily obliged. While at Wat Pak Nam, Jun was admitted to join the super advanced meditation workshop, where only the most accomplished meditators were allowed. Jun devoted herself entirely to meditation without concerns for anything else, even though sometimes she was mistreated by peers who looked down upon her. She meditated 12 hours each day, 6 uninterrupted hours in the morning and 6 uninterrupted hours in the evening. Her meditation skills became so profound that she soon became the great abbot's most outstanding disciple. The great abbot called her second to none. In 1954, the great abbot called a meeting among his students from both inside and outside the temple to speak of his passing, which was to take place in 5 years. He told his students to spread the Tamakaya knowledge to the world. 5 years later, his prophecy came true. The great abbot passed away on February 3rd, 1959. After the great abbot's passing, Jun continued to teach meditation at her residence at Wat Pak Nam. People referred to her as Teacher Jun. She was called Khun Yai, grandmother, by her younger students, and everybody called her Khun Yai after that. The number of students grew steadily until it exceeded the capacity of her residency. Among these students were 2 promising young men, Chayabun Tutipo and Patat Pangsawat, who later became 2 great Buddhist monks who led the Tamakaya temple to its pinnacle of success as we know today. In 1967, a larger wooden building was constructed inside the Wat Pak Nam compound to serve as a meditation center. It was named the Tama Prasit House. Young Chayabun Sotipot and Patet Pangsawat played key roles in all of Khun Yai's projects. Khun Yai was 54 years old when she met Chayapun Sotipot in October 1963 while he was a freshman at Kasait Sat University. Chayabun was 19 at the time. Padet joined Khun Yai soon after through the introduction of Chayabun. Both of them studied meditation with Khun Yai and were the supporters and driving force behind many of Khun Yai's successes. Since the beginning, Chayabun's meditation skills were extraordinary, exceeding those before him. He eventually attained the Tamakaya. The attainment of the Tamakaya brought him profound bliss and happiness that he never knew existed. Chayabun came to realize that his real purpose in life was to become a Buddhist monk. Khun Yai was pleased to hear of his intention, but advised him to finish college before entering monkhood. Chayabun graduated from Kasait Sat University in April 1969 with a bachelor's degree in economics and was ordained at Wat Pak Nam on August 27th of the same year. His monastic name was Tamachayo Piku, currently abbot of the Tamakaya Temple, also known as Longpa Tamachayo. Longpa Tamachayo went on to become a legendary monk and spiritual leader who successfully propagates the Tamakaya knowledge to the world. Padet, another key disciple of Khun Yai, was also a graduate of Kasait Sat University. Padet had a compelling personality and natural leadership qualities. Pade, too, had found Tamat to be his shining light and decided to become a monk for life. He was ordained on December 19, 1970 at Wat Paknam. His monastic name was Tatachivo Pico, currently Vice Abbot of the Tamagaya Temple, also known as Lompa Tatachivo. Today, Lompa Tatachivo is a world-renowned Buddhist scholar who has written and published scores of books on Buddhism. After the ordination of Lompa Tamat Chayo, Khun Yai felt the time was right for them to build a Buddhist temple where true monks could be developed and the Tamakaya knowledge could be propagated to benefit mankind. This was a grand vision indeed, but could it be achieved? To fulfill this vision, a great deal of financial resources would be needed. Unfortunately, all that Khun Yai had was her own savings of a mere 3,200 baht, equivalent to $160 in 1970. But Khun Yai was a perpetual optimist who was driven by merit and merit power. She strongly believed that the virtue of good deeds performed by her and her team members would attract sufficient celestial treasures to make this mission possible. Khun Yai and Tamat Chayo Piku envisioned that their future temple would be built on a sizable piece of land not too far from Bangkok, with a river or creek flowing through it. The team set out to look for such a land. They found a tract of land in Patutani, 10 miles from the Bangkok International Airport. This land was owned by Lady Prayat, an aristocratic lady. The team was not certain that Lady Prayat would be willing to sell part of the land she owned, but proceeded to arrange for a meeting with her. The day that Khun Yai's team met with Lady Prayat also happened to coincide with Lady Prayat's birthday. It was a lucky day for Khun Yai and the team. Not only was Lady Prayat willing to part with the land, but she was in fact willing to donate the entire 78.4 acres of land to the future temple. This was nothing less than a miracle. Needless to say, everyone was overjoyed. The Tamakaya Temple was formally established on Maka Pucha Day, February 20th, 1970. It was originally called Buddha Chak Meditation Center. The main chapel was completed in 1982. The property was later expanded to 1,000 acres in 1985. The Great Tamakaya Saitya, the world's largest Buddhist monument, where 300,000 Buddha images are enshrined on the exterior dome, was completed in the year 2000. The grand opening ceremony of the Saitya took place on Saturday, April 22, 2000. Khun Yai was 91 years old when the Great Saitya was completed. She lived to see the big day. The Great Tamakaya Saitya is indeed a gift to mankind. The compounds surrounding the Saitya are now the gathering ground for Buddhists around the world. Over 1 million Buddhists gather at the Saitya during important Buddhist events. The Tamakaya's mission statement is World Peace through Inner Peace. Its goal is to change the world one person at a time. The Tamakaya Temple, Khun Yai's brainchild, is now the center of Buddhism for all Buddhists around the world. Khun Yai passed away on the morning of Sunday, September 10, 2000. At her cremation ceremony in 2002, 100,000 Buddhist monks from 30,000 temples all over Thailand, many senior monks from 20 different countries, and hundreds of thousands of others from around the world came to pay their final respect to Khun Yai. This is the biggest gathering of Buddhists in history. Like the story in a fairy tale, a tiny little farmer girl, completely illiterate, took a journey on a spiritual quest, found a great master, learned the great knowledge from the master, went on to build a great temple, produced many true monks and virtuous people, and brought goodness to mankind. Khun Yai's legacy lives on.